and I'm not. I want to know that. I also find the lisp a little bit suspicious. But the point is that it is a serious issue, and it's not something to joke about. And I think most gay people do know that it is a serious issue, and it is not something to take frivolously or.
What, marriage is a serious issue?
Homosexuality is a serious issue.
Uh-huh. So you have questions as to?
It's just not credible in my mind.
Gay marriage or homosexuality?
Homosexuality is not I think if you start looking and examining the reasons for homosexuality, which have not been put forth, then you would attack those reasons and maybe expose homosexuality as insecurity or something.
Well, playing the devil's advocate a little bit, what they have said, which they haven't proven, is that it's genetic.
Right, but they haven't proven that.
Exactly, they haven't found a gene.
That's when you're dealing with like weird issues like gay marriage, you're not getting a straightforward, transparent debate. I mean, if they really want to say it's genetic, well,
then point to the gene.
Yeah, show me the money there. You know, don't you know, you know, the point is to have a very, you know, open and direct and above board debate on something, as opposed to just assuming that there's no evil to counter in the world anywhere.
Well, and talking about, you know, freedom of speech, if you question gay marriage, they want to say it's hate. If you say, you know, some people believe that homosexuality is a form of sexual misconduct. But if you speak against it, they're going to classify you as someone who's hateful.
Well, one of the tricks of the devil is that when you try to help him out, he says that you're hating him.
What about people who don't believe in the devil or in God?
That's just metaphorically the battle
Sure.
of good versus evil, you know, the base versus the heavenly. But if I can elaborate about this case that I had, you see, where this case faltered is that there was no press coverage of this interesting question of whether the reservation of powers excludes local officials. And when it went through the borough, the mayor at the time, Joe O'Neill, never introduced it to the council. So there were no minutes of it ever being discussed. And because the mayor in our system is able to filter and control the agenda that the council discusses, one man was sort of able to be a bottleneck to make sure that this legitimate question never went any further. And the newspapers never covered it, so that it never forced the officials to behave honorably. And to me, this is like an ethical issue, because if you think about it, the New Jersey ethics law says that if you have a personal or financial interest in an issue, you can't adjudicate that issue. Well, local officials everywhere have a personal and financial issue that their ideas are not, that their offices are not going to be exposed as unconstitutional. So how do you get local government to discuss the issue of local government? Because they have all these personal and financial interests in the way local government is. And when you expose local government as being incapable by our own ethics laws of being able to discuss local government, you see how ridiculous the few deciding for the many locally is. But I didn't mean to switch off topic there.
Oh, no, that's fine. So what are some other issues that are on your mind?
You know, I think that, you know, as we have our problem protecting our countryside, which other nations have solved, we have to realize that every culture has their challenges. And in some ways, to solve your problems of your nation, you must actively root for the problems of other nations being solved as well. And for all we know, to solve the problems on Earth, we have to root for the problems on Venus being solved or something like that, so that they want us, I mean, for good things to happen. There's another controversial idea I have, which I'll bounce off you, which is that Islam took all these tribal religions that would never use money, and because they don't use money, they live very tribally, they would never sell us oil, and they enforce the usage of money and a very strict Western society that sells us oil. You know, now if they're really freedom fighters and about the Arab people, they would probably be against selling us oil. If they were really for the Arab people, they would be encouraging their native religions. They wouldn't be so strictly codify them. So when Islam sort of avoids that fair debate in some ways that gay marriage avoids, that there are like logical incongruencies that you don't understand, like how can a religion be that strict to its people?
So I think what you're saying is that they're playing by a different set of rules. When you're talking about being fair, that they have their own set of rules versus the proper set of rules. So it's hard to engage in it because
I'm saying that we have the problem of protecting our countryside, coming up with a sensible economy and having a more sustainable world. The Arab people have a great challenge, which is that they're wholly ruled by this very strict religion. That's a huge, that's the Arab people challenge. Every nation of the world has their own challenges. And that's why we have to be respectful of other cultures and what they're going through and not judge them.
Okay, so with the case that you were at, they said that you didn't have any standing. Why was that?
The Attorney General, I sued the state of New Jersey also, and the Attorney General said that ever since 1888, people have not been allowed to sue their own state because your rights come from the state. So how can you sue the origination of your rights? And they say that the 11th Amendment prohibits suing another state, which does make sense, because you don't want cultural clashes going on in the courtroom. But the point is that this was a question for the state to examine its own political jurisprudence. It was strictly about politics, which is what the state of New Jersey is strictly about. So to say that I did not have the standing as a citizen to engage my state in a discussion of the politics and polity of this state in the wisdom of a courtroom is ridiculous. To say that unchecked building and an unfair local government doesn't constitute a grievance the way stepping on a rake that hits you in the forehead might constitute a tangible grievance. It is just an avoidance of the issue. And again, I think the logic and benefits of free assembly is clearly seen, but the status quo is very strong. It's very hard to take on a status quo.
Yeah, very much so. What did you think about the Miss California who lost the crown, the U.S. crown, or Miss America crown?
She looks like a real wholesome girl.
Yeah. So, I mean,
she's a good kid.
Yeah, and they asked her about the gay marriage issue. And she said that she believed that marriage should be between a man and a woman. And then one of the judges said she wasn't politically correct, and that's why she lost the crown.
Yeah,
then the same judge went on his blog and used curse words about her, as though that's not a form of hate. Defaming her and degrading her because she expressed her opinion.
It was wonderful the way she exercised free speech. That was wonderful.
But she was punished for exercising her free speech.
And that really exposes the gay marriage movement, more than it helps the gay marriage movement. And I just like to see the free speech going on. Because,
it goes back to...
You have to admire people that speak out.
Absolutely.
When it's hard to.
But it goes back to, the gay movement says that people hate and mistreat, people who are homosexual, and and then he was gay, the judge was gay, and he went and he mistreated her. He defamed her, called her all sorts of names, and so the very thing he said that other people do to him, he was doing to other people. It
was a spectacle. It was something that's hard to understand, that can only be explained by the chemistries that were going on there. And sometimes people are controlled by the camera.
Thanks for being here, Vic, and thanks for watching. I'm Esther Mills.
Thank you, Esther.